it kind of reminded me a lot of 300, the slow-mo, like action sequences.
We just finished watching Aquaman, and it was pretty good. It was a little inconsistent at parts. It was pretty melodramatic, but I kind of enjoyed it going full ham in its melodramaticism. I thought that was pretty good. Albert, what did you think?
Thought it was pretty nice. Very medieval.
Medieval, that's a good term. Do you say medieval due to the constant amount of clubbing people over the head and just ramming into each other?
Yeah, very blunt, very blunt, very blunt.
Not just the physicality, but emotionally blunt.
Everything's blunt.
Everything is blunt. Which I guess is tonally consistent to who the character is. He calls himself a blunt force object. He goes about his life solving his problems like a blunt force object. A lot of the emotional beats were very blunt. When stuff wasn't happening at a fast enough pace, something would literally interrupt the scene, whether it's like a submarine or somebody falling or an explosion, just constantly hitting you over the head with things. And that might sound exhausting, and it was, but I didn't mind it because it knew exactly what it was doing and it wasn't apologizing while it was doing it.
It was fun. It was fun. The CGI was not as bad as I thought it would be. They've improved since, what was it? Since, what was the DC version of,
Batman v Superman?
the one after that?
Justice League?
Yeah.
Well, Justice League is like okay CGI from the early 2000s, so...
Wait, hold on. Justice League was like 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it looked like it could have been from the 2000s.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's like a bad point of comparison. Like, I guess, what did you think about the characters?
We got Budget ScarJo.
Interesting. Budget ScarJo, because she had red hair and she was hot.
Like her face.
Oh yeah, her face.
Exactly like ScarJo.
A little racist, but okay.
I mean,
She's a hot redhead.
there you go.
Yeah.
And the dude was what's his name? He's Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
He
is
seems
who he
to play
is.
the same character in everything so far.
He plays Aquaman in everything he's in.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, basically.
So that's pretty good. Can't fault him on that.
What did you think of the main baddie, Orm?
Yeah. Not enough backstory. Not enough motivation, I don't think.
Okay, yeah. So did you think, okay, so what I kind of liked about Aquaman was like, it had two, what I thought were like fairly interesting baddies. One of them probably more interesting than the other. I thought they did Manta well, like they set him up pretty well, like very straightforward. He has kind of a tragic backstory, a personal vendetta against Aquaman, therefore leading to him wanting to make sure he's dead later on. What did you think of whatever his name was, Black Manta?
Yeah, Black Manta's setup was fine.
Yeah.
I think that was perfectly legitimate. And, pretty well paced as far as the scenes that he was involved was in. But the actual Atlantean motivations were thin at best.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think now that you mentioned it, most of the story is pretty thin at best, because the Atlantean is kind of the core of the story. So basically the Atlantean core of the story is he's in charge of taking over his throne, and his half-brother Orm wants to conquer the world and go to war with the humans and take over the whole world and also unite all the undersea creatures. But his motivation for doing so is just that humans are destroying their world, kind of, but that's like super vague, and that's always constantly happening. So that begs the question of like, what's so important that it has to happen right now, which we never really know. And then Arthur/Aquaman goes on this quest to find this trident that will give him the claim to the throne, even though he already lost his claim to the throne. It's just very thin of like what's happening and why now, you know, like.
How much can we give away?
You know what, at this point, I think if they're gonna watch Aquaman, they're gonna watch Aquaman. If they're not gonna watch Aquaman, they're not gonna watch Aquaman. So just go ahead and give stuff away. Yeah, I'm just giving stuff away.
Well, I think it was very interesting how they did like King Arthur. And it's straight up like also smack in your face, but it was a King Arthur. I guess you could call it a remix.
Dude, you know what? I think I totally missed that.
Like the Sword and the Stone. His name is Arthur. He's going to be the king. Like
Yo, that totally whooshed by my head. I don't know. No, in hindsight, is it a common name? But yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, his mom's basically the lady in white, and then.
Oh, dude, I didn't think of that. Oh, like, shoot.
The Kraken thing was basically the. What is it called? The Lady of the Water?
No. I mean, that makes sense. I literally didn't think of that at all. Were there Knights of a Round Table?
Was there Knights? Not really. There weren't really Knights of the Round Table. The only, I mean, I guess you could count his princess love interest as one of the knights, but that's about it. Yeah. Not really no Merlin either. Well,
no. You're not. Not
the Vizier dude.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. His Vizier. That's more Animorphs.
Oh wow, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, I want to be a Vizier. That sounds cool. But no, I'll have to look into that. I didn't think about that at all. But yeah, a trident and claim to the throne.
Yeah, I only thought about it once he went up to the trident and like the Kraken was like, no one's ever managed to pull it out before. And I was like, interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Also, Hobgoblin. I could have sworn he would end up being the evil one, but...
No, he was good. Hobgoblin was good. What's his name?
It's the evil one. He's always the evil one.
Norman Osborn. No.
Norman Osborn.
What that actor's name? Whatever. He just looks like a demon, but he's a good guy. Which is surprising.
Holy shit! This guy's headlights are not on.
Yeah. What else? I don't know.
If they are, they're very weak. Okay. Well, whatever.
Any other thoughts about the film? Pros and cons.
Oh yeah, I was very confused. How his mom got sent to the to the chasm or the trench or whatever.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, the Vizier dude was like, "Oh, your brother was jealous, so he sentenced her to death."
Yeah, yeah.
But then later on, the brother was like, "I'm so sad about our mother dying. I blame you for it." And then at the end, they met up, and it was all hugs and kisses. But
I think, it was their dad. Their dad sent her out of jealousy.
Oh, was he talking about the dad?
Yeah, they were talking about the dad. After he found out that he had a bastard, she had a bastard son. That's what she said. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that then.
Yeah, because Orb had mommy issues too, which I thoroughly enjoyed when he started crying like a bitch. But that was like the most cheesy, but like you kind of wanted it to happen too. Like they're just little boys, like crying about their mothers. That's kind of sums it up. This like whole movie is such a. I mean, to me, it felt very Shakespearean, and I guess that means it's very Oedipician. Oedipician.
You know, now that you bring it up,
yeah.
it kind of reminded me a lot of 300. The slow-mo, like action sequences where the very muscular dudes and the like people flying in the air and whatnot.
Man, I guess we've come full circle because Zack Snyder is the one that started the DC Comics universe, but now it ends with James Wan, a completely different guy at the helm of the brand new movie, completely divorced from Zack Snyder, who's already kind of ruined a lot of the previous movies, but now they've made a movie exactly in his honor, like full circle. Man, that's strange.
Was he the 300 guy or Zack Snyder?
Zack Snyder's the 300 guy, and he kicked off the DC universe, and, you know, a lot of people say ruined it.
Yeah, he kind of did.
Well, I mean, he certainly didn't make it a resounding success.
Nope.
So,
I think Superman was probably his best attempt.
yeah, that was a good try. But then he had a couple more tries and they weren't as successful.
Yep.
Yeah. Huh. So one thing I wanted to talk about, that what I kept thinking about when I was coming out in theater, is James Wan is so melodramatic in the way he portrays his characters. Every time they come up on screen, he needs to do like a Dutch angle, lower, medium, close-up push-in, and then a big like Inception sound that goes burn every time they come up and they're walking in slow motion. That is kind of like 300, but that's like he made it his own, because it's not... Zack Snyder liked to do 2D, like side shots maybe, or front-ons. James Wan just likes to do low-high with like a little bit of turn for every character. We had that for Manta, we had that for Aquaman, we had that for Orm. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a bad guy or a good guy. If you're one of the main characters, you earn that kind of shot. Almost reminiscent of like Michael Bay too. And yeah, you know what? I like it when they are unapologetic about how they want to show a character and convey a certain style and a feeling. And again, whole movie, blunt force object, not bad. I thought it was very preachy in the way they're delivering all the lines, but again, because they said what they meant to say, there was no like real subtext to anything they were saying. They were just very wearing their heart on their sleeves. But because they were being genuine, it was fine. It was good. Yeah, I think so. Albert?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Pretty much. About their low to high angle thing, I noticed you did that a lot for a lot of the action scenes too. Immediately at the beginning of the movie, there was a lot of scenes where someone would take a trident or something and like swing a bad guy up into the ceiling, and the camera would be at the floor and they'd like look up toward the ceiling. It happened at least 3 times in the movie. I was like, he likes that angle.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. And our other friend Yu was telling us there's that one shot that he filmed like a horror, and James Wan is known for horror, so there's especially that one shot when they're in the ocean and all of the whatchamacallit, the under the deep monsters are chasing them. That was a super cool shot, because you see them like a tiny, like the 2 of them in the sea, like swimming down, and then a bunch of these like dark figures following after them. That was so cool. I'm sure he was flexing his horror aesthetics in a couple of other scenes, but that's the one that definitely really stood out to me.
Oh, I thought you was talking about the initial scene where they were still on the boat and the camera panned to the princess girl, and then did a pan back, and there was a deep sea creature thing staring at the camera.
Oh shoot, yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's probably it too.
That was the closest thing to a jump scare in that movie.
I guess, yeah. I guess there weren't jump scares, but there are a hella lot of boom scenes.
Yeah.
But yeah, those aren't jump scares. Yeah.
But yeah, the one where they're holding the red thing.
Yeah. That was just a good visual. That's not.
That was quite
not
good.
necessarily a horror
Remind me of
thing.
Poster for one of those horror movies, like Piranhas or something.
Yeah. It looked like a horror poster. Like it could be, and then it'll say like "in the deep" or something on the poster. So to sum it up, Aquaman, yay, nay?
Meh. If you like Aquaman, I think it's probably worth watching. Otherwise, you could probably just wait.
I feel like you went from a recommend to a not recommend.
I mean, I don't usually pay money to go see sevens.
Oh shoot.
Like,
damn, that's intense.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's cool.
Seven is seven. I guess maybe I'm generous sometimes with numbers. Seven just means like it was entertaining, even if it didn't feel good. Like, I don't know very much about film technicalities.
If Albert has gone out to dinner with you, that means you're at least a 7. Congratulations. Yeah, I feel pretty similar. I think I support the director a lot. I support a decent DC movie, which is rare. I would give it a recommend, but if there are other movies you want to watch, maybe you could watch those first. But overall, it was a good time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. That's all I got. Enjoy, guys.